In this video, we're going to discuss how to reset the throttle position sensor in a Chevy. It's a fairly simple process, so we'll get right to it. The throttle is the part of the air intake system that controls the amount of air that flows into the engine. The throttle position sensor, TPS, is a sensor that measures the position of the throttle and sends a signal to the engine control unit, or ECU. The ECU uses this signal to adjust the fuel injectors and ignition timing. The throttle position sensor is located on the throttle body. It works by measuring the amount of air that is flowing through the throttle body in response to the driver's acceleration. The throttle sensor is a common cause of engine performance problems. If the throttle sensor is not working correctly, it can cause the engine to run lean, too much air and not enough fuel, or rich, too much fuel and not enough air. Steps to reset the throttle position sensor in a Chevy. 1. Disconnect the negative battery terminal. The first step is to disconnect the negative battery terminal. This will prevent any electrical accidents from happening while you're working on the sensor. 2. Locate the throttle position sensor. The throttle position sensor is located on the side of the throttle body. Once you have found it, disconnect the connector and remove the sensor. Clean any debris that may be on the sensor or in the connector. 3. Clean the throttle position sensor. The next step is to clean the throttle position sensor. You can do this by using a can of compressed air or by blowing it into the connector. Once you have cleaned the throttle position sensor, reconnect the connector and reattach the sensor to the throttle body. 4. Reconnecting the negative battery terminal. After you have finished cleaning the throttle position sensor, the next step is to reconnect the negative battery terminal. This will complete the process of resetting the throttle position sensor in your Chevy. Reprogramming the throttle position sensor. 1. The acceleration pedal release position. Fully release the accelerator pedal of your car and turn on the Chevy's ignition switch for about 2 seconds. Switch off the ignition switch immediately and wait for 10 seconds. Then turn on the ignition switch for 2 seconds and wait for another 10 seconds. 2. Program TPS for a closed throttle valve. Incline the throttle valve closed position and turn on the ignition switch by car keys for about 10 seconds. Switch off the ignition and wait for 10 seconds. The sound will stop as a result. Through this, you will be able to determine whether the sound has stopped or not. 3. Gauge the throttle position sensor. Free the accelerator and turn on the ignition switch for about 3 seconds. Cut the accelerator pedal with force, then release and wait for up to 7 seconds to depress the pedal fully. Release the pedal for 3 seconds and start the engine to idle for about 20 seconds and check for the illuminating lights to glow up. Signs of bad throttle position sensors. Several symptoms can arise when your throttle position sensor is going bad. 1. An illuminated check engine light. The check engine light is one of the first signs that your throttle position sensor may be failing. The check engine light can come on for several reasons, but if it's accompanied by any of the other symptoms on this list, it's worth investigating the throttle position sensor as a possible cause. 2. Erratic or jumpy idling. In case your throttle position sensor is going bad, it can cause your engine to idle erratically or jump. This can be caused by a buildup of carbon deposits on the sensor itself. 3. Decrease in fuel efficiency. A decrease in fuel efficiency is another common symptom of a bad throttle position sensor. This is because the sensor is responsible for sending the correct amount of air to the engine, and if it's not functioning properly, the engine will use more fuel than it needs to. 4. Vehicle hesitating or stalling when accelerating. In case your vehicle is hesitating or stalling when you try to accelerate, it could be a sign that the throttle position sensor is going bad. This is because the sensor tells the engine how much air to let in, and if it's not working properly, the engine can't get enough air and will stall. I hope this video helped. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and follow so you don't miss any of my videos.